guys, thanks for tuning in. This is optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys MMS 385 of the 1/6 scale Star Wars Death Trooper Specialist. A brand new character from the upcoming Star Wars Rogue One film. For the package, you got a really cool image of the Death Trooper in the back, as well as the Star Wars logo. And then you also get this little kind of chrome, the additional piece that's added to the outside that kind of wraps around and actually looks really cool and gives this a very different look than a lot of the other Star Wars packages that we've gotten before. On the back of the package, you got various warnings and contact information for Hot Toys. Then when you open the shoebox style package, on the inside you have an insert with the Death Trooper in a very cool action pose. And of course, when you slide that out, what you're left with is the open clamshell, which fully showcases the figure as well as all of his accessories. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have the Death Trooper open up and out of its packaging, and one thing that's actually really very cool about it is while he is a new character to the franchise, he actually existed back in the early days of Star Wars when George Lucas was still involved with the franchise. For whatever reason, the concept of the Death Trooper was shelved, but I'm really happy to see that for Rogue One, they decided to revisit it because it is a really cool look for a Stormtrooper type. One thing that we know is that this is basically an elite type of soldier, part of the Empire's, I guess, intelligence gathering apparatus. And while we don't know too much beyond that, the overall look for it is absolutely terrific. Now coming in to take a look at all the things that you get in the package. First, like with all Hot Toy figures, you do get his instruction sheet, which really doesn't go over too terribly much. You have how to install the batteries for the light up function, how to attach the actual shoulder pouch. On the back section here, it shows you the explosives, mentions that the chest rig is not removable, also goes into detail with all the other cautionary sort of parts, and then it shows how to hold his blaster, like you probably couldn't figure that out already. Then in addition to the 2 relax hands that are currently on the figure, you get a total of 7 other hands. You get one left hand here that is kind of open, just as a gesturing sort of hand. Really nice detail on here though. You can see you got a nice little hand guard here on the back of the hand. Some nice sculpted detail here on the finger. You come around to the inside of the palm area and you can see that the glove actually is sculpted with like these little pads on here, which is kind of cool. You also get a right and left pair of hands that's just sculpted in this semi-open sort of pose, but you still have that same sculpted detail on here, which is nice. You get a right and left trigger finger hand, which obviously works very nicely for the guns. And then you also, you drop it, then you also do get just a standard pair of fisted hands. As with all Hot Toy figures, you also do get an extra pair of wrist pegs in case you break them. You also do get several other kind of accessories that are already on here. It's a bomb, basically. You get 3 of them. They are removable. And you can see pretty small, but real good detail still. You can actually see some like dirt on the inside here, which looks really very, very cool. And then to activate the bomb, it can actually slide out. And then you got a little red section here, and this little bit here spins. But you have that little kind of activation sort of look for it, and then you can close it in, obviously, just for storage purposes. They just sit right here in little pouches in the front of his little belly area. And you do get a total of 3 of those. You also do get a regular hand blaster, which looks absolutely terrific. I love the detail on this. Great amount of kind of paint variation in there, giving it a kind of worn look. You can see some nice texturing here in the actual handle area. You got the scope with the little scratches and everything. On the opposite side, you can see it's a little bit different looking. You got like the little like cocking mechanism right here that doesn't actually move or anything, but really very cool looking. And then on the body here, you actually do have a storage piece. You got a little magnetic section right here that kind of comes down, and then you just basically take this, and it's a little bit tricky to do, but bring that up there and then try and get that to magnetically attach. There you go. And now you can have his just regular blaster kind of holstered on the side here, which is cool. But his much cooler weapon is this sort of rifle kind of gun. You can see you got like the little clip thing that kind of plugs in here on the side. You got the handle. You can actually extend this back section for, you know, propping this along his upper arm. You got a nice strap right here. I love the paint variation here at the tip of the actual barrel. That's really very cool. Gives it a very white hot kind of look. That's really gorgeous. And then on the opposite side, you got some more tech details with like this little
piece. I don't know what that is. You got some more scratches and everything. Overall, great looking gun here. And then he also does come with the display base, which is a little bit... I don't know how I feel about this. I kind of feel like this is just kind of thrown together. You get this, which is perfectly fine. And then you get this, and I honestly have no idea why they did. I mean, this, to me, I mean, it's really nice, very heavy cardstock. You can see you got an image of the Death Trooper there. You got some words kind of written down there. You got the Empire logo kind of thrown in there. But you literally just put this here, you put that there, and it just sits on top here. I mean, it moves around everything. I mean, to me, I don't know. I feel like this is like an afterthought. I don't really feel like this is really all that good. I mean, I have no idea why they don't just have this permanently attached to the base. It makes no sense. The front here says Imperial Death Trooper, and then you have this piece, which you just put there. And it just, I mean, it doesn't attach or anything. So you literally just kind of put that there. So I don't understand why they couldn't have just made this all one piece, why they had to do a whole bunch of different parts to it. I like the fact that the display base is a little bit smaller than some of the large ones. Obviously, you have the little adjustable cradle right here, but I don't know. I don't really feel like this is done right, I guess. Coming in to take a closer look at the figure, as you can see, very different than what we've gotten with a lot of other Stormtroopers, but still does a really nice job of using some of those elements to give a slightly familiar look. The helmet looks absolutely terrific. I love the detail here in the mouth area. That's really cool. It's a lot kind of longer in this area, which I think looks really neat. As you can see, you do have a greenish tint to the actual eyes, which also matches the green that's down here in these little kind of lower sections. One thing that's cool is you can remove this top section, and on the inside here you have a battery compartment with the little switch right there that when you flip it, you can actually turn those on. It's not all that bright. It's a very subtle kind of light, but it looks really cool. Obviously, you're not going to leave it on all the time, but that's a nice feature built into this particular version of a Stormtrooper that I don't think we've ever gotten before. Now, out of the package, this little shoulder section is not attached to him. You have to just slide it up. It's on a little kind of elastic strap that you just bring up over the arm. You got a really nice shoulder pauldron right on this side, really nice kind of faux leather material. You get some nice texture and everything on there. You got the nice straps that come down here and attached to his little waist area. All of these are actually attached, and I'm not 100% sure what they're supposed to be. Here's a little section with the grenades, but I have no idea what these actually are. It looks cool, don't get me wrong, but again, this entire section here is not removable. You can see you got that nice armor underneath. You got a very cool rubberized suit underneath with some nice line detail, which looks really good. On the back, you got his kind of backpack sort of thing with some nice paint variation throughout there. You got the little lower section. It's almost like it's dirt that's kind of put in there. It's kind of interesting. You got his belt right down here with a few pouches like you could see before. You have this section for his actual blaster. That does kind of slide forward and back, so you'll probably have to adjust that every now and then. Great detail with the rest of his armor, specifically down here in the legs. Again, you can see some nice dirt kind of put in the creases, which looks great. Again, you got that nice rubberized textured suit underneath. One thing that I think is really cool is that you actually have two different sort of knee setups right here. You got one that's very just plain, and then you got another one with like these little prongs that stick out, almost like that's meant to be a weapon itself. I mean, with somebody with a name like Death Trooper, I mean, something like that's kind of wicked. Again, real nice detail in the rest of the boots and then the feet himself. You got that same kind of rubberized texture down there. So overall, great looking design on the suit. I love this arm section as well. They kind of feature that in some of the actual pictures. I'm not 100% certain what it's meant to be. I would imagine it's some kind of a weapon, but in general, very, very cool looking piece. First, articulation, because this is a hard plastic kind of suit, it does limit some of it, but not too terribly bad. The head is on a nice ball joint, so you can kind of get that rotating, looking up and down, all that kind of stuff. The arms here are very stiff to move, but you can get them rotating out about that far or so, bringing them back down. They also can, again, you have to be a little bit careful with this piece. You can rotate them forward, they can rotate back. They also do have a rotation at the upper part of the bicep. He's got two joints here at the elbow. I would imagine that the torso has all the articulation points that they normally have, like with the diaphragm joint, and then the waist section, you can see you get a little bit of rotation and not really any forward and back or anything. The legs here move forward a little. The rubber suit does kind of limit some of it as it's a fairly stiff material, but you can get it moving a little bit, not a heck of a lot, but it is still there. You can move it in and out. Again, you probably do want to be a little bit careful not to overexert it, just to kind of protect that material. He does have 2 joints here at the knee, but you're not going to get a lot more than a little bit more than 90 degrees. That's roughly about it. And then the ankles are also on ball joints, so you can rotate side to side. They move forward and back a little bit. The foot does kind of rub into the shin pad itself, but you can get some pretty good poses like that, you know, with a wider spread on his actual legs, you know, for any dynamic poses you may want to do. And for his height, most Hot Toy figures are about 12 inches tall. The Death Trooper here actually is a little bit bigger and comes in at just about 13 inches. Now, even though we don't really know anything about the Death Trooper, a lot of fans are really super excited about this character. And I think a lot of it has to do with the overall look for it. I think he looks really cool. And all indications kind of point to this actually being a stormtrooper that's, excuse the French, but pretty badass. He doesn't come with a ton of stuff, but what he does come with is actually fairly cool. Both his rifle and his blaster are really well done. And the overall presence of this figure, just for me, really feeds into that excitement of the character. I'm really not a big fan of what they did with the base, but it is nice to see that they're trying something different. I just think that it could have been done better. But everything else for this figure really turned out great. So if you're a big Star Wars fan, I would absolutely recommend picking this guy up. It without question will stand out in your Star Wars display. So if this is a figure that you'd be interested in adding to your collection, it is available right now at Sideshow Collectibles. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Sideshow where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the Hot Toys Star Wars figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please like and share it. It goes a long way towards helping me out. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you get instant email notifications and you never miss out on a future review of mine. And as always, until next time, be excellent to each other.